G'day folks, Wren here. Today we're going to do a flip through of my 2023 reading journal. So, just going to shout out the candle. It is a Jack Skellington candle by Kirsty from K-Beth Bookish. I will leave her Etsy down below. This smells amazing and it is just fitting with the vibe I'm going with today. So this is my 2023 reading journal. I did have a video where I set this all up and now we're going to go through the rest of it. Front page, I didn't do anything. Then I had this kind of title page, and then I was kind of trying to do a colour theme for each month, which I don't think I stuck to, but oh well. Then we have my goals page for the year. I did not too bad. I mean, I finished 15 series, so that was good. I almost read 6 physical books each month. There were a couple where I only did 3 or something. I did read over 6 non-fiction, which was nice. I don't even know why I tried to do a bi-monthly book buying ban. That was never going to happen. I can't do them. My book review journal. I was doing this for the first, clearly, 5 months. And I was really enjoying it, but I got really overwhelmed with the pressure of it, so I didn't do it for the rest of the year, which sucks because it was very fun. Then here I did complete the Soul Eater manga series, which was awesome. I'm actually wearing a Soul Eater ring right now. This is Lord Death's face. 6 books per month are ones that I owned. I kind of half did this. Some months were better than others, but I did kind of drop the ball a lot with that. Speaking of dropping the ball, reading 5 Stargate Atlantis books, I read 1. I did not do very well with that goal in 2023, so whoops. Then the last one was to read 30 indie books. I definitely completed this. Next I had my Instagram and YouTube tracker. I was never planning to get to 750 on Instagram. It was just, that was the amount of space I had. With YouTube, my goal at the beginning of the year was to get to 200 subscribers. Oh, the 200 is there, sorry. So that, yeah. I completed this goal in February. Yeah, so I think I ended the year at like 680 or something. I can't quite remember. My stats page, you can see I did not do this. I think I stopped in March. March was, I think, the last time I tried to do any of this. I just couldn't be bothered, in all honesty. Then the series I would like to make progress in 2023, so I picked 23 series and I did this. The thing I wish I did with this was differentiate the different colours. So I wish I had done a colour for the books I had read before 2023 and then one for books I read in 2023. So that's kind of annoying because I would like to see the progress that way. But I did read some of them. Some of them I didn't get to. I don't think I read any Ice Planets or any Throne of Glass or Lumberjanes or Extraordinaries. Okay, there were a few that I didn't get to. I did complete the Magic in Manhattan series. I completed the Wonder duology and I completed the Timothy Blake series and the Cells at Work manga series. So I completed some of them, which was really good. And I did make progress in a lot of them, so there's that. Then I had my 30 before 30 list. I turned 30 in July of 2023 and I took myself to New Zealand for that, which was awesome. But for this, I ended up not reading 6 books, which is fine. And honestly, I have no desire really to read any of those. I have read 1 since. I've read A Monster Calls, but I do really like the look of this page. But yeah, I didn't get to some of them and that's fine. I honestly don't care. Then we had my self-destruct page, which I am no longer doing any self-destructs because I realized when I did this that I would just unhaul them. I didn't want to give these books a go. So I will say I am currently reading Children of Blood and Bone. I'm doing a buddy read with Mel for that. I have unhauled all of the rest of these except Must Love Hellhounds. I still own that. The rest of them I didn't try and read. I didn't want to. I just got rid of them. Because I don't have time in my life to try things that I already think I'm not going to like, you know? Then we have the buzzword for 2023. For 2023, I was just reading books, and then if they fit, they fit. I was doing them all out of order, and that was fine. I got to all of them except the March buzzword, which was secret. I didn't read a book with secret in the title then, but that's fine. I did the rest of them, had a good time. I don't like how this spread turned out, and I'm glad that I changed it for 2024. Then I have my queer alphabet. I have just put a piece of paper stuck over this because I am planning on doing a video about this. But I did all of them except Z. I did not get to a Z book in 2023. Then we had these bingos that I had created on Instagram. I did kind of like doing these, but I wasn't prioritizing them. I did get all of these except a queer neurodiverse book and a queer indigenous author. Those are the only two I didn't get, but I did get the rest of them. If you want a closer look at all of these, pause it, have a look. I'm not going in depth into anything. And then I did a diversity bingo one. Again, this didn't become a priority for me, and I only didn't get to 2. So I didn't read an endometriosis or PCOS book or a cane user book, but the rest I got. So pretty happy with that. This was my 12 books I want to read throughout the year. Clearly I didn't get to too many of them. I did read Iron Widow, Guardians, Trans Wizard Harriet Porber, Juliet Takes a Breath, and Bitter. I didn't get to the rest of them, and I did end up unhauling without reading Dumplin'. So I didn't get to the rest of these, but they are still books I would really like to read. Then we move on to some of my favourite spreads, even though they're very, very simple. But these were just books on each of my shelves that I wanted to get to. So I organised my shelves by genre. So this is the non-fiction shelf, and these are some of the books I wanted to read. I only read The Stranger Beside Me. I ended up unhauling Empowered, 3 Women, Big Magic, Dead Woman Walking, and Pride. I do still own these 2 books, and I do still really, really want to read them. Next shelf was my fantasy shelf, which, shock horror, none of these got read. I was not really picking up fantasy in 2023. I would like to pick up some more of it in 2024, but we'll see how it goes. So out of here, I unhauled The Girl King, Malamander, Caraval, and The Bone Witch. I do still own these 4 books and do still really want to read them. Next shelf is my paranormal shelf. So here, clearly I did read 2 of them. I have since DNF'd this series, and I have unhauled this book. But I did unhaul Max Helsing, Ghost Ship, Hunting Season. So unhauled all those, but I do still own Mortlock, The Gates, and The Graveyard book, and I do still want to read them. Next shelf is contemporary. Again, didn't read much. I did end up reading The Hate You Give. I have unhauled the edition that I have because I want an edition that matches Concrete Rose. I did DNF Wildfire, it wasn't working for me. And then I basically unhauled the rest of them. So I unhauled Hacked, Small Steps, Moxie, Eleanor Oliphant, and The Switch. I do still own Gold of the Gods and do want to read it at some point. Next shelf was my thriller shelf. Now, I read 2 of them. I have decided not to continue with this series though, and I have unhauled that book. I don't think I own this book anymore. I think I unhauled it, but I do potentially want to reread it again. I did unhaul Lock Every Door because the edition I had was really, really bad. But I do still want to read that book. And then the rest of these I still own. They're all really intriguing to me. Next shelf, we have horror on this side and sci-fi on this side. For the horrors, 2 of them I read. This, oh boy, you'll see this again. And I did unhaul There's Someone Inside Your House. I still own these 3. I did consider unhauling this one, but then I crossed that off because I do still want to read it. So I still have these 3. Then for the sci-fi, I read this, I enjoyed it, but I did unhaul this because I don't think I'll ever want to read it again. I did DNF Maphead. It was a bit yikes, and then I unhauled the rest of them. I have since taken this book out of my unhaul pile, so I still own this one. Next up we have my queer shelf, which I'm really sad I didn't get to like any of these basically. The only one I read was Iron Widow, and I ended up DNFing both of these and then unhauling these two. But the rest of them I still own, I still really want to read, and I really hope for 2024 I make more progress on my queer shelf, because this is a little upsetting for me, honestly. Then I have my classics shelf and my comics shelf. So for the classics, I read Lord of the Flies. I have unhauled this edition, and then I unhauled Little Women and Wuthering Heights. I still own Treasure Island and do still want to read it. For comics, I did pretty well. I read Fractured Shards, I read Deathnote Volume 2, and I read The Hidden Witch, which I still own all of these, so that's awesome. That The Labyrinth was the only one I didn't get to. Still own it, still want to read it. Then I have my Kindle shelf. So I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books on my Kindle, and I always forget about them. So here were some that I would have liked to have gotten to in 2023. I didn't do too well, but I'm also pretty proud of the fact that I did get to some of these. So I read these three. This one I have since like deleted from my library. These two really enjoyed, and I have continued on in this series. I did also start this one, was really enjoying it, but I had to stop for some reason, but I do really want to continue with this one. And the rest of them, I hope I get to read them at some point, hopefully soon, who knows. Next up, I had my recommendation list. So this was books, whoever recommended it to me or who I heard it from, and then why I wanted to read it. I love the look of this spread. Like, I had to add in an extra page, but I just love the, I guess like the color scheme and the simplicity. We have like the browns and the pinks, and something about that is just really appealing to me, and I really enjoy it. However, I didn't read too many of these. So out of all of the recommendations I had, in 2023, I only read Killing Stalking, which I heard about from Katie Coulson. My Love Mix-Up, which I heard about from Meredith from Reading with Merb, and then Evolved, which I heard about from Tiffany. So sorry, I cannot remember her channel name off the top of my head. Very sorry. But those are the only three I have read. Still a really pretty spread. And I loved this spread so much that I really wanted to just copy and paste this into my 2024 journal. But I tried something different in 2024 because this didn't fit the vibe. But oh, it's just so pretty. I love it so much. Then we have the Read Queerly bingo board, which is made by Obscure Pages on Instagram. I love doing this bingo board every year. It's really great. It makes me read kind of outside my usual genres. Now for this, the only ones I didn't get to were disabled or neurodiverse, intersex main character, and an indigenous main character. I'm upset I didn't get to complete this, but that's fine, I will try again in 2024. This was just a random cover page for, I don't know, the year, because this is the end of the yearly spreads. Now we're going to get into the monthly spreads, which I haven't looked back on. So we have January. I remember I was trying to do themes every month, and I did not follow through with that. But I love this cover page, it looks so pretty. So we have my TBR Gate and Demon Trap. These are two of my TBR games. I have since stopped doing Demon Trap. You will see this kind of peters out towards the end. I am still doing TBR Gate, and I have done a updated version for 2024. I'm not going to go through all of the books if I did or did not read them. You can see for yourselves there. Then we have the New Year's-a-thon, which is a readathon hosted on Instagram. I have loved doing this the past few years. I did not do it in 2024 though. I think I don't need this anymore, whereas I think for the past few years I have needed this kind of specific encouragement to read. But that does look very pretty. And we have Demonathon, which Demonathon is one of my favourite readathons. And this was my little demon for this round, which was a new demon, and I'm very happy about it. Demonathon is on a little bit of a break right now, but that's fine. Then we have the pop culture readathon. I was on the team Rock Alt Night. I really dropped the ball on this. This just didn't turn out how I wanted it to. But I really liked the idea of having the iPod shuffle with the book cover on the screen, because this was the exact iPod that I had when I was a teenager, and it fit with all of the songs that were chosen. But yeah, I don't like this spread. Then in the first few months of 2023, I was trying to do this TBR unhaul thing. I scrapped that pretty quickly because it just got really overwhelming because I buy lots of books. Then we move on to February, and I really love this title page. I think I did so well with this, and I really love that. I need to do something like this in 2024. So you will see a lot of repeat spreads because, of course, every month I would play my TBR games, and they always looked exactly the same. Then I was trying to do some of the Read My Kindle bingo challenges, which is hosted by Ellie. I didn't always get to them, which was kind of sad because I really need to read my Kindle books. But yeah, I clearly didn't do anything in that month because none of those got filled out. I was gonna like print off all the covers and put them in there, but that didn't work. We have Blackathon. I really like this spread. I like the colors going down the side there. I think that's really cool. That was really cool. I do like doing Blackathon, but I find I always just get too overwhelmed with wanting to read the books that I then don't read them in the allotted time. I don't know. I would love to complete a Blackathon. Then we had a Romantasy readathon. I was on Team Monster Lover. Again, I did not get to many of these. I was just making TBRs and not filling them out, apparently. I don't love this spread, but that's fine. This one makes up for it. Then a random empty page, because I miscalculated. So then we have the India chords. I was on the path of the fated, so like fated mates type thing. This was a fine spread. I kind of liked just a random piece of paper there. I thought that was kind of cute. I didn't do too well with that one. I only read 2 books, which is fitting for me. Then we have the March title page, which I think is very cute, but it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, so I kind of just gave up. Again, very fitting for me. Again, my TBR games. Then we had the Roll of Wreaths. I could not figure out how to make this spread more aesthetically pleasing, so this is what we got. I don't love it, but I read plenty of books for it, so yay me. Then we had the Spring Into Reading-a-thon, which is one of the season-a-thons. Again, couldn't make this any prettier because it was already looking really, really cluttered. So this is all we got. I hate these stickers, just putting that out there. But I put them in anyways. Did some of this, some of it not. Again, the Read My Kindle. I managed to get some books read this month, so, you know, yay me on that. Then we have my April spread. I don't know what my plan was for this. I think the theme was, like, witchy, so somehow this was what I came out with. I don't love it, but I do love this washi tape. Again, TBR games. And then we had Aurelium for the spring equinox. I don't love this spread. I really don't like this washi tape. I think this was a freebie that I got, so I just try and use it sometimes, but I don't love it. I really don't. And I don't love the, like, diamond shapes that I tried to do there. Don't love it, but 'tis what it is. But I did complete the spring equinox, so that's always a fun time. Then we had Realmathon. I was on Team Sanctum. I did have a lot of fun with this, but it was just, I needed to have so much information on these pages that I couldn't make them pretty, which is kind of sad. Because then they continue on here, and yeah, they're just not pretty, which is very sad, but what are you gonna do? Then we have May. I think May's theme was meant to be like space and sci-fi-y. I actually kind of like how this looks. I think it's very interesting, and I like that I played around with, you know, doing some random washi tape things and just, I don't know. I experimented. It looks fun. That's kind of all I can hope for. Again, TBR games. They don't ever change. Then we had a Read My Kindle. I did way better that time. I almost got a full board, so that's awesome. I like in May to kind of have a bit of a like goal check-in. So these were all of the kind of things I wanted to catch up on. I got to most of them, which is kind of cool. But there were a few that I didn't get to. I need to make sure I do something like this in 2024 as well. And then we have June. Yep, I did so much decoration on that title page, huh? But oh well, clearly I was going through something. So here we have just my TBR gate, and there is no demon trap. This is when I decided I was no longer doing demon trap, but we have my camp seasonathon TBR. I do like how this came out, but like it could have been so much more. But I tried to do like little planks of wood as the, like, you see all jagged there. I tried to do that because, you know, camp, I always think of like a wooden sign for a camp thing. And yeah, I know, I see that. Okay, moving on. Then we have our first adventurer-a-thon, which is amazing. I do love how this turned out. I like that it was minimal because, like, and I mean minimal decoration, because I had to put in, well, not had to, I wanted to put in images of the two characters that I was playing as for this round. It was good. It's a little cramped all up here, but I like it. I like doing the double spread for some readathons, and especially Adventure-a-thon, because I love Adventure-a-thon. It's so much fun. Then we have the Queer Lit Readathon. Again, one of my favorite readathons. I don't know kind of what I was trying to go for with this. I think I just wanted lots of color. Then we have July. I don't super know what July's theme was. It might have just been like moons. Honestly, I don't know. I think I stopped with the theme around here. But I do kind of like the simplicity of this, and I like just the washi tapes. Love that sticker. Always will love this washi tape. The writing was cute enough and good sticker. I like it simple. It looks nice. Again, TBR gate. Apparently, I kept doing Demon Trap. This might have been the last one. I don't know. In July, I was doing a like special edition of TBR Gate because it was my birthday month, and so the glyphs didn't matter, so I just put some random ass stickers there. And so everything was all different, and clearly I did so well in July. But that's fine, there were no consequences, so it's all good. Then we had a plus size readathon. I do like how this came out. It's very pretty. I didn't read any of them, which is very much a theme for me in 2023, was not completing readathon TBRs. But that's fine. We had another Read My Kindle. I only got to a few ones there, but that's fine. Then August, I think I was just too tired to really do anything else, and I put that title down and I was like, that's fine. So I did that, and then I just kind of gave up. Which again, very me. Again, TBR Gate, and then just a random page. For some reason. And then we had Aurelium again, Winter Solstice, I guess. Love this readathon. I do like how this turned out, but because I had to do so much for Wildform Druid, I couldn't do too much decorating, but I do like the titles in this. I think that's kind of cool. Another random page, because I keep making mistakes, as you do. And then we have my September. So in September, again, I have completely gone off whatever kind of theme I thought I was going for. But yeah, I just did this, and then I started doing this kind of like monthly tracker. So I was writing down every book I read and then every star rating I gave. I was testing this out because this is kind of what I wanted to do for 2024. I did keep going with this for the rest of 2023. But yeah, this is what it is. I don't love this title page, but cats. I don't know why there are cats, but there are cats. Again, TBR Gate. Then we have our first Thick Thighs readathon. I love Thick Thighs. I'm so hyped for it coming back in February. So I did really well with this. I did complete those 4 books for the readathon. and then I put the little stars next to the other things I completed that didn't have a book associated with them. But yeah, I didn't need to do too much decoration for this because I just printed off the bingo board. And it's cute enough on its own because look at that little like logo that Sasha made. Isn't it adorable? Then we had Season-a-thon Academy, which is another one of the Season-a-thon readathons. I didn't do too well this round because this was a very, very busy month for me. I do like the title. I think that's great. I could have done more for this, but I was very stressed during September anyways. Then we have Pick Pongathon. So much fun. Really, really great readathon. I didn't get to all of these. I don't love how this is set out. It didn't turn out how I was wanting it to. In my brain, this looked so much better. Then we had Sufferathon Hotel, which was a highlight of my year, honestly. It was so much fun. And it was really cool to do this spread because I couldn't just set it up and leave it. Like I had to, like every week I was putting in a different thing because it was like a week by week prompt reveal, and you know, you'd never know kind of what was going to happen in each week. So it was a really fun time to put this together, and I do love how this turned out. It's simple, but I really, really like it. Then we had Adventurer-a-thon again, and I do really like this spread as well because I did this little, I don't know if this is necessarily called a Dutch door, but you know, a little flippy page in there. So for this round I had one character, but two like pathways that my character was going for. So I have the blacksmith, so this side I had the main quests and then the side quests, and then for minstrel, main quests, side quests. And I just liked the way I set all of this out. I have a little like blacksmithy person here, got some cool skulls. I like swapped out the colors, so there's a lot more green here and less purple, whereas this side there's more purple and less green. And for the minstrel we got like a skull that has some headphones on, which I think is very fun. And I don't know, I like these spreads. I was pretty pleased with these. They look nice. So then we have October. I just put some random Halloween washi tape around because I have this washi tape. I might as well use it. I do like my little ghosty. I think it's cute, but overall, don't love this title page. So again, we have this list of all of the books that I read in that month and the star rating. So we have my TBR gate. Then, yeah, October didn't go too well. So I was meant to put my Bookopoly TBR here. I was gonna, like, I did print out the board and I was gonna just put the board in there. That never happened. So I just put some washi tape with the bit of paper, like the scrap bit of paper that I wrote down my TBR on. I didn't read any of those books. It wasn't a good time for readathons during this month. So we had Gothtober and this little creature, because in this round the prompts related to like bits of a creature, and so I told Max all of my bits of creature, so he drew this for me, which is awesome, and I love this. And I just had a like flip open thing, need to make sure I don't burn it, and then all of the prompts were there. But again, just me and readathons in this month didn't go well. So then we move on to November. I do really like this title page. I like the almost like scrapbook look of it. I don't like the way I wrote the title. I wanted to do something different, but I just, as soon as I got to this point, I couldn't be bothered with anything else. So just like some random stickers, I really just kind of gave up towards the end of the year. Again, we have the list of all the books I read. I have my TBR gate, which clearly I never finished because I didn't put in the glyphs there, but that's fine. Then we have the Australian readathon. I just wrote in the bingo board. I don't like how this ended up. It just looks too rushed, but I mean, I was kind of rushed during this month, so it makes sense. But I did just do the green and gold for Australia. Then we have December. I just put some random washi tape down. But yeah, I did a double page spread because I realized I had so much of this journal left that I could do a big spread. But like, it's fine. I didn't do anything Christmassy because 1, I don't really like Christmas. 2, it is summer in Australia, so I made it very summery. The list of books that I read in that month. my TBR gate, which again, I didn't fill in the glyphs, which is fine. Then we have Bookymon. I don't love how this turned out, but I couldn't figure out any other way to do it. So this is what I got. Then there was also a Queer Lit. I do kind of feel bad that this isn't as colourful as I usually like my Queer Lit spreads to be, but I was really rushed in December. Then we come to the end of the year spreads, which I literally just finished today, because I couldn't figure out how I wanted these to go, but I wanted them to look a certain way. So just some random stuff on the front page there because whatever type thing. End of the year. I really love how all of these look. I had so much fun doing this. But this is just some stats. I love the way I did this title. I just wrote these letters on a scrap piece of paper and then cut them out. Like, I wanted to make it look really rushed, so they're like kind of scribbled a bit. And I like that. I think it looks awesome. Love that. And then I really liked how I did this with just like not putting in like the holes on some of the letters, kind of keeping that like bubble effect. I don't know, I like it. But we have books read, pages read, and then my average rating for the year. Then I did a whole bunch of pie charts. So we have my star ratings for the year. So 30% were 5 stars, 41% were 4 stars, 14% were 3 stars, 7% were 2 stars, 2% was 1 star, and 6% were DNFs. I'm pretty okay with the percentages on this. I don't really want to improve on any of this. It is what it is. Then the age ranges. 5% were middle grade, 31% were young adult, 8% were new adult, and 56% were adult. Again, I don't need to improve on this. It is what it is. Next up, some more pie charts. So here we have queer versus not queer. So out of all the books I read in 2023, 40% of them are queer and 60% of them were straight. I would like this to be a little bit more 50-50, so I'm going to try and work on that. I will say a lot of this 60% will be manga, because a lot of the manga I was reading was parts of series and they had no queer characters in them. Then we have this queer rep one. So I broke down this 40% into specific queer identities. So 16% were sapphic, 38% were Achillean. For those that don't know, sapphic is female-female, Achillean is male-male. There is some controversy with some of these terms. This is how I use them. Then 7% was bisexual, 14% was transgender, 9% were just queer in general. This could mean that there were several different types of representation, or it could mean that no specific label was given, so I just put it under queer. 2% was asexual, 11% was non-binary, and 3% were polyamorous. I like this. This is cool. I'm really happy with my trans and non-binary percentages. I think that's awesome. I read way more of these than I thought I did. I do also like that this Achillean is lower than it was in 2022. 2022, I think this was about 50%, and I really didn't want to do that in 2023, so I'm glad that that is slightly less. I think for 2024, I do want to increase all of these percentages and lower this, or just make them all look a little bit more even. Then I did my owned books. So 38% of the books I read were books I already owned, and 62% were ones that I borrowed. I definitely want to make this more 50-50 in 2024 because I have realized how many books I own. So like, I don't need to be borrowing so many books from the library. I can just read my own books, you know? And then I looked at like book types. 47% of my reading in 2023 was just manga. That is a huge percent. And like, I was saying that 2023 was my manga era. Here's the proof. Then 3% was non-fiction. I'm fine with this percentage. If I could get it to 5%, that would be even better. 7% were novellas, 9% were graphic novels. Then 0% was anthologies, because I did read one singular anthology in 2023, but it equates to 0%. I do definitely want to increase this in 2024 because I own a lot of anthologies, so I need to read them. Then 1% was poetry, But then 33% of my reading was just general fiction or any other genre types. I love all these graphs. I think they look super cool. And even though these took me like 2 days to figure out all of the math, I think it's worth it. My brain is very happy right now. So then here, it was too hard to make nice looking graphs for these. So we just did this. So these are all of the genres that I did read that are in this 33%. So for classics, I read 1, I read 14 contemporaries, 2 dystopians, 16 fantasies, 7 historicals, 12 horror, 11 paranormal, 3 fairy tale retellings, 16 romance, 6 sci-fi, and 6 thrillers. And then these are the percentages that come out for that. I'm a little surprised at how high the fantasy is. Like, this equates to 17%. Which is the highest of this, in line with the romance, which is also 17%. I didn't think I was reading that much fantasy, so that's interesting. And I will say, like, none of these are manga, okay? It is just this 33% that all of these are in. Nothing to do with this one. Then this is publication dates. I am not going to go through all of these, but I did track, and then I did the 1990s, then the 1980s, and then anything before the 1970s. In all of those year brackets, there are only 2 years that I didn't read anything from. So 2006 and 2001, I didn't read any books. I then did this tiny little graph here to kind of better represent all of these. I did, in the entirety of the 1900s, I read 3%. Then in the 2000s, I had 9%. 2010s were 47%. And the 2020s were 41%. So I find this an interesting little statistic. I guess, like, this is fine. I don't mind this. I do like that I'm reading a lot of backlist books because, like, that is a lot that's on my shelf. But I am reading a decent amount of newer releases, so that's also really, really good. Then I made some spreads for the best and worst of the year. So this was my worst of the year. If you haven't already seen that video, it was this. I just thought I would put in a bit of a spread, give some quick thoughts on what I thought of the book and, like, maybe why it was the worst of the year. But this has stuck with me throughout the entire year, and I really wish it didn't because of this. I'm not going to read it out, but, you know, you can pause to read it all. But I do like how this turned out. I like these washi tapes that were given to me by Kirsty. Thank you. And then I do love how I wrote out the title. I think it all looks very, very fun. And then the best of the year. Love this. I got some new shroom washi tape, so I love that. I do like how this turned out, but I like this better, which is annoying. But again, best of the year, why I liked it so much, all that good stuff. And I did cut out the image from the, like, UK version of the book because I own this version because I wanted this cover. I also want this cover, but I can't justify it to myself just yet. So I just cut out the image of the hand and all the shrooms. Such a good time, love it. Now, this coming out is because this is the end of the book, right? But there were so many pages left over, so I just ripped them out so that I could use them for other things. So this is all very, very tattered now. But yeah, this was my 2023 reading journal. I hope you enjoyed looking at it. And don't forget to check out my 2024 setup video. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.